welcome to today's live training, and welcome to the Facebook group, the Profitable Insurance Agent Community. Today we're going to be talking about how to close more appointments without feeling pushy. And what we'll cover today is a powerful tool that you can use in your appointments that will have you writing more applications, and there will be no need for you to feel pushy while you're doing this. We'll go over a framework that you can use so that you can use this tool every time you're running an appointment. And hey, Billy, and this tool will also make it where there's no more time in your appointment, that you can actually save time. So if you're tuning in live, put hashtag live. If you're tuning in on the replay, put hashtag replay. Let me know where you're from and if you have any questions so I can get back with you. So who is this training for? It's for every insurance agent, no matter what products you may sell, from the very beginning agent to the most seasoned agent and everyone in between. Honestly, it's for anyone that's in sales. So make sure that you stay until the end. I'll be sending out a free checklist, take some notes, and I will share with you how you can work with me to help you implement what we talked about today. So a little bit about me. For those of you that may not know me, I am Andrea Gerritsen, and I am a licensed agent. I've been a licensed agent for the last 10 years. I have a property and casualty, life, health, accident license. I hold them all, and I've sold everything from mortgage protection, term, final expense, health. I spent a couple of years doing employee benefits, group employee benefits. I have generated leads through door knocking, cold calling. I've set appointments. I've had an appointment setter. I've tried it all, and I will go ahead and tell you that everything works if you work it. So when I started in the insurance business back in 2010, I had no sales experience whatsoever. I didn't really know anything about insurance, to be perfectly honest. I was working for an attorney at the time, and he told me I was going to get my my life license, and that's how I ended up with a life license. And so I went to work with an IMO, and they did a lot of training, and they did provide me with a sales skeleton or a framework to use for my sales process. But I still was kind of struggling in the homes. And so I had to find my own way of selling that felt right to me, because I believe that unless you're in alignment with the way you're selling, you're not going to be as confident, and you're going to lose some sales. So there was nothing about me that was pushy, and so I had to learn how I could connect with my clients without feeling that I was pushing them to make a decision or pushing them in a decision that they didn't want to make. So sorry guys. So today what I'm going to talk about is the powerful tool of implementing storytelling into your sales process. And you may be thinking, Andrea, I already tell stories. But are you telling stories in a way that it's actually benefiting your appointment, or are you just telling stories? So if you're telling stories, put hashtag story in the comments so I can see who's actually using storytelling in their sales process now. So what I found way back when was that I was getting the same common objections in appointments. And so we always want to address those objections before they're ever asked. So, a common objection with life insurance is the whole I want to think about it, wait. That's a common one. So about the time that I got in insurance, it hadn't been very long into my journey. My dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. But here's the beautiful thing about it. About 2 or 3 months prior to his diagnosis, I asked him, could I write a life insurance policy on him? And to be perfectly honest, I was trying to hit a sales goal, and I needed some additional premium, and that's why I wrote that insurance on him. But so it got issued, and he had some coverage and some additional coverage in place. And then shortly after that, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And so that became a story that I told in every appointment, because it blew out that objection of waiting on it. Because with that story, I put in their mind the scarcity and the fear of missing out on a policy. Because there's one thing, you can have all the money in the world, but sometimes the money won't buy you a policy if you don't have the health to get it. And so by simply telling that story, I was able to embed in their minds that just like with my dad, he didn't know what the next day held as far as his health. And had he waited, we wouldn't have been able to get any coverage on him, or as much coverage as we did, because he was diagnosed with lung cancer. And another beautiful thing is that I've always written simplified issued, and so I was able to overcome that objection, because I was like, and because it was a simplified issued policy and there was no blood work done, nothing showed up, so I was able to get him coverage. And you can see where that would lower those objections for waiting on it, or now's not the right time, especially if they were in a situation where they really needed coverage. So that became a staple in every appointment that I ran. I used that story at the same time, and it lowered my objections when it came to thinking about it. So you may think, why would I want to tell stories in my appointments? Now, I'm sure we've all heard that facts tell and stories sell. And I'm going to just give you an overview of why this is the truth. If you're like me, you like to know why things happen and why you do things, and it makes it a whole lot easier for you to do them. So we have two sides of the brain. We have the right side and the left side. And so the right side of the brain is the more creative side, it's the more holistic side, and the left side is our more analytical, logical side. And so I am definitely left-sided in the brain. So if you know if you're left or right, hashtag that and let's look. That'll be fun to see. So you would think that storytelling, because it is creative, that it would affect that right side of the brain, but that's not the case. The storytelling actually affects the left side of the brain, that analytical side, and it helps build the trust factor, because we have hormones and neurotransmitters in the body, not to get too technical, that send signals to all of the body, and one of them is oxytocin. And this is considered the love hormone, and it's responsible for us building trust and building bonds and just that relationship. And so what happens is when we tell a story, it triggers the release of oxytocin in the brain, and therefore we're able to trust that person faster. We're able to bond with them, and we know that sales is all about building that know, like, and trust factor when it comes, because people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. And so the faster we can build that trust factor with our client, the faster we can get a sale. So that is one of the main reasons why you want to tell stories, because let's think about this. If you're trying to learn about the history of a country, would you rather read a book on it, or would you rather watch a movie that you can learn through that movie? Most of us want to watch the movie. We like the story because we can get transported into what's happening, and we can actually imagine ourselves in that situation, and suddenly it becomes very real to us. So how these stories can help us with overcoming objections is I recently learned this. I do a lot of training on the brain and the mind, because to me it is just such a beautiful thing to understand the psychology behind sales so that we can increase our close ratio. So what happens actually on a psychological level when we tell stories is we have this gateway, this gatekeeper in the brain that it protects the conscious to the unconscious mind. And so obviously when we start talking numbers and just facts and figures about the policy, we're speaking to that logical side of the brain. But we know that people buy from emotion, right? So we're wanting to appeal to the emotional side of the brain, which is located in that unconscious part of our brain. So we have to find a way to access those emotions. And a lot of times when people don't like to be sold to, so that gatekeeper is already like at high alert, right? And it's like, I'm not letting anybody into that unconscious mind. So what we do is when we tell a story, it causes the gateway, which is called the reticular activating system to be technical. It causes it to relax and say, this is safe. And then we as the salesperson can actually access the unconscious mind, the emotional side of the mind of our client. So let's think about it like this. I live in a gated community, and outside of the subdivision is the conscious mind. So when I get to the gate, I have to punch in a code to let it know that it's safe for me to come in, right? And the gates open and I'm able to drive into the subdivision. So as we come to the appointment and we start presenting, we're hitting that conscious side of the mind. And so then we start to tell a story, and we're punching that code into the gate to tell it, hey, she's safe. And that gate opens and we're able to drive on in. So we tell that story, that gateway lowers, and at that point we're able to drive on into the unconscious part of the mind and start hitting them on the emotional side. Now, you have to understand this is powerful, and it can be used for good or bad, and that's the bad thing about sales. So many people use it for the bad, but I have to trust that you will use this for the good, because you have already determined what your client's needs are, and you're actually only going to suggest things that are in their best interest. So you may think that, especially like me, who is a left side brain, that I'm not good at telling stories, and that you're no storyteller yourself. Well, there actually are some frameworks that we can go through to tell stories so that we can tell the type of stories that are going to work in our presentation. Because the main goal is that we want to get our client to trust us so that we can get to the emotional level. So, first of all, I'm going to show you, here I drew it out. So you have an objection that your client has, right? So maybe it's that they don't have enough money, or it's too expensive. So what we can do is think, what is an example of that? And of not having enough money or something. And then we can come up with a story to tell that uses this example, because this is the gateway to the unconscious mind. So if we try and come at it here, we're going to hit that gatekeeper head on, and it's not going to be pretty, because we are not getting to the other side. But if we bring it up higher and then we cross over, we jump over that gateway, and we're able to get into the unconscious mind that way and actually appeal to the emotional side. And so then we proceed with our story and we can offer a solution. So just like with my story of my dad about how, never did I use the word scarcity or fear of missing out. I just simply realized that could be an objection. I came up with an example of it, told a story, and knocked out that objection before it ever came about. So some other frameworks that we can use for storytelling in appointments is overcoming the monster. And if you've been to any kind of conference, you always are going to hear some of these frameworks from the speakers on stage. But for us, when it comes to overcoming the monster in insurance appointments, maybe it's the lack of money, maybe it's health conditions, maybe it's the lack of urgency in actually taking action on getting a policy. Everybody wants to think that they have plenty of time. So you can come up with a story that helps them overcome that monster of, that they do have health conditions, but there are policies out there for people with health conditions, or that they don't need to take action today, or that they don't have the money, and you can show them how you can get them coverage for what's in their budget. So the second story framework that we can use is rags to riches. Now, typically we hear the story of how, we were extremely poor, we went on this journey, and then we became successful. But the way I view the rags to riches, if I was trying to use this framework in an insurance appointment, would be I would tell a story of how one of my clients filed a claim, and that claim got them out of a bad situation financially. Because at the end of the day, that is what insurance is trying to do, protect in the future financially. So you can tell a story about how a policy helped a client of yours or a client of someone else that you know, and relay that same story and it be just as effective. And the last framework that I want to talk about is the quest or the search for something. So maybe someone has been searching for a policy to that they could actually be approved for. You can tell other stories about how you had a client that had searched and searched. I personally had a client. She was 21 years old. She had sickle cell, and her mom had been searching her whole life to get an insurance policy for her. And I actually was able to get her a policy and something in place, even with sickle cell. And so, now I have that story that I can always tell when someone thinks that they haven't been able to find coverage, but I can tell that story about how I had a client that didn't think there was any policies out there for her, but I was able to provide her with coverage. So you may think, well, trying to tell these stories will take up too much time, and I'm on a timetable, Andrea. I've got to get to, we usually set appointments every hour and a half. If I start telling too many stories, it's going to take up too much time, and I can't run as many appointments. But here's the thing, if you become effective at telling your stories at the right time in your presentation, it's going to eliminate objections, and you're not going to have to take the time to deal with those objections because you've already dealt with them before they ever came out. So, come up with some stories. Think about some stories that you can tell. If you don't have any of your own, ask some colleagues for some stories. And, if you can't come up with any that way, just make up stories. Just so that you can connect with your client on a deeper level and move past those objections. So briefly, what we've covered today is that the tool of storytelling can help you close more appointments and not feel pushy using it, because you're not having to just continually hit them on that logical side. And anyone can use storytelling using a simple framework of a story. and it can help eliminate objections that haven't even shown up yet, or maybe the client will never even realize that they had those objections with a story. So, which one of these frameworks do you feel that you would be most comfortable using, or would it just be on the fly because you've identified what the objection is and you're able to come up with something at that point? Let me know in the comments. So, after learning about storytelling and really understanding the concept of why it works and why you need to implement and why it's so important to tell these stories, besides that we've just heard for our whole sales career that facts tell and stories sell. I mean, there really is a science behind why facts tell and stories sell. You've learned something that is so powerful and can make you more sales. Trust me. I mean, once I learned the power of telling stories, I think it was some 75 appointments that I went without missing a sale. So, I mean, this is a powerful tool if it's used correctly. So, for those of you that are ready, thank you for attending. And I'm pulling for you because insurance is such a rewarding path to be on. It can provide such time freedom and financial freedom for you and your family. So I'm rooting for you, and I'm here if you have any questions. But if any of y'all feel that y'all need some help with implementing what I talked about today, or anything about closing more efficiently and more effectively, just stay with me because I have something to offer. So I have come up with a program that I'm calling Activate, one that is going to provide one-on-one coaching for insurance agents, and I'm releasing a group coaching program next month that any of my one-on-one clients will actually be given access to. And so if you want to hit your sales goals faster, and want to be closing more appointments it'll have you writing bigger applications with this coaching. So this program will have you closing more sales in no time at all, because we'll dive deep into what could be causing you from not writing applications, and have you writing bigger premiums. Because early on I was writing premiums, but I had this belief that the clients could only afford a certain amount. And so, once I dug in deep, I understand where that was coming from. And so with a one-on-one, we'll dive in if you're having any issues with premium size, and see if there's some kind of limitation belief that is behind that. I actually have created an assessment so we can take a look at your appointments, to close ratio, to premium size, to how much you're getting on investment when it comes to leads, and really identify where there might be a breakdown in your business. I have some wonderful techniques to help eliminate any mental blocks that could be stopping you from reaching your income potential, because we all have goals, and sometimes we can be on that path, but there's something that shows up and we don't know where it's coming from that just might be a little pesty belief system issue. And so we'll identify those types of belief challenges, and we will eliminate them and knock them out. Also, we'll be discovering how you as an agent can generate organic or free leads using organic strategies on social media, and also some paid methods for generating leads. Because at the end of the day, I know that when I go into Facebook groups, every agent pretty much is talking about where can I get more leads, because leads are the lifeline of our business. So what exactly does this program entail? Well, it's 12 weeks of one-on-one coaching with me to help improve and refine your sales skills and your mindset. And I'll be using some like state-of-the-art techniques that I have paid lots of money to learn myself. A weekly training on top of your one-on-one coaching. I will put out weekly training each week. You'll have access to me with Voxer so that we can message back and forth, so that you're never left questioning what you need to be doing, or if there is a problem, we can identify and come up with a solution for it. I'll provide all my scripts that I have accumulated and I've personally used to close thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in premium, and workbooks to help you with your business, with your mindset, to make sure that you are able to crush those goals that you have set. And we'll do script audits, like your phone script. If you're having problems on the phone, let's listen to your phone script. Some hot seats to see where you may be, you could make some tweaks that you become more effective. And even sales process, if you want that audited, we'll take a look at that. So the program's not for everyone, I know that, but if it's something that you're interested in, you can comment Activate in the comments, and we can talk personally in message to see if it's a right fit for you. So who is the program for? Well, it's for agents that are actually students of the business, and they are continually investing or wanting to invest in themselves so that they can improve their sales strategies and conversion ratios, and just really become a better salesperson so they can serve their clients better. Those that are willing to invest in improving their skills and mindsets, and realize that the best always have a coach or a mentor that is mentoring them and with a path to success. And for those agents that are just sick and tired of feeling like they want to throw up every time they pull out their credit card to place a lead order. One, because they're not for sure that they can get the return on the leads because they don't trust themselves in the appointments, or two, because they're fearful of the quality of leads that they are purchasing. So once again, my Activate program is a one-on-one coaching program that has a group program that is coming next month that you will actually get access to. So if it's something you're interested in, comment Activate in the comments, and I can message you. We can talk on the phone. We can voice message back and forth, whatever, so we can dig in and see if it's a fit for you. So what you'll receive when you join the Activate program, of course, you'll get the one-on-one coaching for 12 weeks, the weekly trainings, the Voxer access, all my scripts, workbooks. You'll also be a member of a VIP Facebook community with other agents that I'm working with, so you guys can collaborate and learn from each other and role play, whatever. And we'll do some extensive mindset work. A transformation session, which is a 90-minute intense strategy session where we identify what your talent is actually when it comes to making money, and what the blocks are that might be prohibiting you from actually using those to the best of your ability. And also, bonus of 2 sessions, once we identify if there are any limiting beliefs such as money mindset issues or self-worth, or you're self-sabotaging and that you may have, then we will use a technique and clear those out and get rid of those so that you are able to crush those goals. And once again, once my group program releases next month, you'll be a part of it, and it has all kind of cool things coming. So if there's any questions, put those in the comments. If not, if it's a private question, you can always just, direct message me. So again, this program will have you closing more sales in no time at all. It'll have you writing bigger premiums, and that's what we all want, is at the end of the week have more premium, because premium equals cash flow for us. And it'll help eliminate any mental blocks that you may have that may be stopping you from reaching your income goals, and we'll discover ways for you to generate leads organically and through paid traffic, Facebook, using a Facebook profile. And so if you're interested, comment activate in the comments, and I will get back with you and we can see if it's a right fit for you. So thank you for joining. This is the first training like this that I've done in the group as far as leads wise. I plan on doing these weekly. Also, if there's a better day of the week for you, comment that in the comments too and let me know. This week I did it on Thursday because I've been in a training all week. That's like 8 hours a day. I'm learning more techniques to help when it comes to sales, to make sure that I can deliver transformation for you in your sales process. But comment what day of the week would be better. I'm thinking that Monday might be a good day, because we can just start off with mastering Monday, and it'll set the tone for the whole week. So thank y'all for joining in, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. And have a great rest of the week. Crush those goals, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.